Hi, I'm JohnTheOther. And today I'm doing a sort of open letter style video. To the YouTube feminists, if you're not one of these people, this isn't for you. But to the YouTube feminists, and I mean the Nuclear Knights, the Jedi Master Boo-Boos, the Diana Bostons, the Auntie Cleanses of the world, and all of your little friends, this is for you. You have had an effect. Collectively, you have had an effect. You have got through to some of the evil men on YouTube and in the world, I would expect. And the effect that you've had probably isn't the one that you were aiming for. The effect I think you were aiming for is to shame us all, to silence us, to make us bow our heads in shame and just fucking go along with your sick, twisted, hateful agenda. That's not the effect you've had. The effect you've had is that I, a man, don't give a fuck about rape victims anymore. I cannot force myself to give a shit. I know intellectually I should. I know that rape is a terrible crime, and being subject to it is probably a terrible thing. But I don't give a fuck. And the reason I don't give a fuck is you YouTube feminists, you victim cult members, you female supremacist assholes. Yeah, I lay this blame on you. And perhaps it's not blame. I'm just making an analysis of cause and effect here. See, you have for so long repeated this mantra, all men are evil, all men are rapists. You're a rapist, you're a rapist, rape, 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 rape. That's all I've heard from your camp for the entire time I've been on YouTube, which is about 3 years now. And I can no longer find myself giving a shit. I don't give a flying fuck about rape victims anymore. The real ones. Not the fake victims like you. Not the fake victims. The fake victims. You think we can't tell the difference between an actual victim and a fake one? No, but you see, I don't give a flying fuck about real rape victims anymore, and you are the cause. You have completely numbed me. Because your endless repetition of this mantra that men are all victimizers and women are all victims. Women are at continuous risk to be raped at any second. I don't give a fuck. So, in the real world, out in the world, if I encounter a rape in progress, what am I going to do? Stop it? No, I'm going to walk around it. Why? Why am I going to walk around it? Wouldn't a real man stop it? Well, yeah, probably. But that's a real man by your definition. See, when I was 22 or 23 years old, I was a construction worker. And one of the places I worked was the St. Paul Hospital addition, where the research center is on 16th Avenue, on 12th Avenue and Oak Street. And I worked there for about a year and a half while that building was going up. And next to the hospital was a park. I'm not sure if the park is there anymore. I think they've built another building there. But there used to be a park there. And the nurses who worked in the hospital used to have to walk through this park in order to get to where their cars were parked. And on occasion, this park was the scene of rape. And being a construction worker, I also ended up walking through that park because I worked in that building too. Around 2 in the morning, I was coming off a night shift, and I had slung over my shoulder my tool belt, which had a drywall saw and a hatchet and a tape measure and a bag of screws and a bunch of other stuff. And I still had on my steel-toe boots, and I was covered in drywall dust. I was tired. I'd worked about 12 hours. And I came upon a scene out of a nightmare. I could hear screaming, and I could hear scuffling. And there was a large man bent over a woman, and it was a very surreal scene. And it was immediately obvious to me that this was a rape in progress. The woman was partially naked, and the man's pants were around his ankles and humping away, but she was still struggling, but she was sobbing as well, and he was grunting. And what I did is I kicked him up the ass with my steel-toe boots. And I kicked him 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times. I kicked him, and I kept kicking him, and I kicked him until he was off her. And then I kicked him out of the local area. I kicked him down the path. And then I went back to find out what had happened to the woman, and she was still on the ground pulling herself together. And I tried to help her. I tried to offer her my hand to walk her back to the hospital, and she was so terrified that she treated me as if I was the rapist. And so all I did, I couldn't do anything. I just stood back. I couldn't get close to her because she was too terrified of me. So I phoned the police, and I stayed back, and I just stood around for about half an hour until the police arrived, and an ambulance showed up, and I did not talk to them. Now, I had a police officer visit me at my apartment later because they had traced the phone call, and I wrote a report, and everything was fine, and she got treatment back at the hospital where she worked. That was when I was 23 or 24 years old. I'm 40 years old now. And if I came upon a similar scene, what would I do now? The same thing? No. I'd see that nightmare scene happening, and I'd turn around and walk the other way. Why is that? Because I know now that I didn't know then that a greater chance is that I will be somehow implicated in the rape. Because that's the way our society now works. I would probably expect that I would be painted with the brush labeled rapist, even if I was the person intervening and stopping the rape. And also, I no longer give a fuck. Why don't I give a fuck? Intellectually, I care. I care about people being harmed. But when it comes to rape, emotionally, I no longer care because I have been subject to your endless torrent of accusation. You, YouTube feminists, and feminists in the real world. This is the effect that you've had. A man who would have stopped a rape will no longer stop one. And yeah, that's my face. To everybody else, if you're still here, didn't I tell you not to watch this? Thanks for watching, and have a great day.